Hmm. It's another early summer night. Well, it's another early summer night in New Sarum. Um, the drizzle that's still coming down finds that Stefan finds himself out in, taking a walk this evening. Um, Using an umbrella to keep that drizzle off of his head, to keep the water from completely saturating his attire. His usual business casual dress is what he's comfortable in, I suppose. He's had a remarkably good night's sleep, good day's sleep. Not too unusual for somebody who, works at night to sleep during the day. Stefan thinks to himself. But as he tries to distract himself with that little musing, that funny musing, that hilarious musing of his, feels in the pit of his gut. Whether he's actually feeling it or whether it's a psychological pang, he definitely feels hungry. He feels a very strong desire to sate his thirst. But he's not quite sure how to go about it. He finds himself, after having walked from his apartment in the northern edge of the downtown area, he's found himself he finds himself in an area he doesn't usually walk in. Um, though not surprising, the thought of going back to the Emerald Scorpion, this rack as they call it, this, I suppose, a meat market, blood market. He, it, it's off-putting to him this evening. He's heard a couple people in passing, mainly at the establishment he works at, when they're not at the last resort. Generally, a few of the clientele at the last resort actually go to the Eagle. So it's a lot more relaxed, a far cry from the upbeat club filled with younger patrons, such as the Emerald Scorpion. So I suppose when he realizes this, it's no surprise that he realizes that that's the direction he's heading. He just kind of let his thoughts wander, let his feet take him where he wanted to go, and about this time he sees the unmistakable emblem on top of the roof of the building, a magnificent gilded eagle, wings spread as though it's soaring far above the city landscape. Yeah, yeah, es ist viel Gutes hier. Hopefully I will find something, some meals this evening. As Stefan kind of thinks out loud a bit, trying to modulate his voice, keep his voice a bit low. He doesn't want anybody passing to hear him talking to himself or musing to himself or whatever. He finds himself after a bit more of a walk, a bit longer of a walk, in front of the doors to the building. The doorman looks at Stefan, asks him how he's doing. Stefan smiles politely, nods. Quite well. So, though not on the account of this weather. Oh, well, welcome to the Eagle, sir. Step on in. He doesn't really think twice. Seeing Stefan's business casual attire, it's not too off-putting. He doesn't even hesitate to open the doors while he's greeting him. Stefan walks in, kind of surveys the scene of this lounge. It is indeed a much slower paced place. Instead of a whole bunch of small bar tables dotted around various locations, there are only a few of those. Mostly small booths litter the landscape in here. Well, make up the landscape. There are multiple bars, but the decor in here is much more suited to taking it easy. He walks on in and kind of sits in an out of the way, well, slightly out of the way booth. It doesn't obscure vision of anything really, but he doesn't really want to be in the thick of things tonight. He definitely doesn't want to attract attention with what he's planning on doing. That need to feed, that urge to feed at this moment it's grasping a hold of him. He's barely managing to keep his wits about him. His eyes dart across the landscape. He's looking for a particular type of person. He generally enjoys feeding women, intelligent women. Never really has enjoyed the idea of fringe radicals. He's fed from a couple of those in his time. Something about all that political shenanigans. It roils the blood. It does something not quite pleasant to the taste. He's not completely a stickler for taste, but he does know the taste, or he does know what quality feels like. He knows how much better quality sates his thirst. No. Somebody much more intelligent, professional. Somebody who's not going to look at him like some kind of creep. A few minutes after he sits down, scans around the place. He doesn't seem to spot anyone, but a waitress, a barmaid, comes over, asks if he would like something. A relaxing glass of wine. Weitfelder. She smiles and nods. Um, Tells him, "I'll have that. I'll have that in just a few moments." Heads off. Heads off to a couple other tables on her way back to the bar to fill out drink orders. And a few moments later, she makes the rounds, or she makes her rounds back the way she originally walked, almost like she's making a casual circuit. It's nothing orderly. She dots around a bit chaotic to keep things interesting, I suppose. She sets down the glass of wine in front of Stefan, and he pays her, gives her a decent tip, relatively generous, given given liquor prices what they are by glass. Um, Smiles at her as he hands her the money. Thank you very much. Um, she she smiles and nods at her. He takes a moment, just kind of listens to the music filtering through the place. Nothing he recognizes offhand, but something in the atmosphere that's definitely soothing, definitely um, distracting those bestial urges that he's starting to feel right at this moment. But he knows that he has to find somebody. He can't leave this place empty-handed. There's no telling what might happen out on the streets. Um, 15, 20 minutes go by, and he's been keeping his eyes uh, around the place, just taking in the atmosphere, seeing or watching the people around him here, just enjoying the scene, um, enjoying the smell of the wine in front of him, enjoying the smell of the interior of the place, enjoying the sounds, enjoying the sights, the ambiance of the place. After after a bit, though, he notices a rather um, a rather striking woman. She's she definitely looks as if she works in some kind of an office building. Her her attire at this point is it's business casual as well. A knee-length skirt adorns the lower half of her body. A matching sport coat, some rather striking uh, business style heels. He, he finds himself drawn to the signs of somebody who's obviously quite intelligent, somebody who may be what he's looking for. He watches where she sits, and then in an out-of-the-way booth, not unlike himself. Perhaps she's trying to escape escape something. Perhaps uh, she wants to avoid the hustle and bustle of any crowd, even in a place as calm as this. She likewise orders a bottle of wine or a glass of wine as she begins to take something out, a book or something, and takes a sip from the glass a few moments after ordering. The bartender or the waitress comes over and the exchange happens. When the waitress is done, there is a heading back. She kind of makes her circuit around the various tables. Stefan kind of flags her down a little bit, motions for her to come over. So he has a question. She asks, "Yes, sir. Can I help you?" No need to be. No need to use formalities. I was curious, though. Who is that striking woman that you brought that glass just now? Hmm. Gloria? She comes in here quite regularly. I haven't seen her though in a few days. I think she said something about work being busy, but I don't really get involved with patrons' personal life. I mean, it doesn't. It's kind of rude to pry. I was just wondering. Thank you very much. I don't need anything at the moment. I'm doing quite well. I guess I'm not much of a drinker, too much, but it does give one a good feeling to at least take in the aroma. Waitress kind of looks and smiles at him and then moves along her way. Um, Stefan kind of grabs his glass, begins to saunter over to Gloria, this woman that he inquired about, and approaches her table. Rather upright, he walks rather calmly, just calmly, casually, just relaxed, and very, very upright. As he approaches the table, "Good evening, miss. I do not mean to bother you, but I was wondering if you would like some company this evening. Um, gonna try charisma empathy, seeing he's basically making an appeal, an emotional appeal. Oh wow, actually no, that's worse. Um, Gloria looks up at him as he speaks, and pleasant smile comes across her face. She kind of looks in from up to down in that order. Um, yes, please take a seat. My apologies. I usually deal with rather difficult people all day, so I'm not usually much for socializing late at night. But please sit. It's good to talk to somebody who doesn't expect anything of me. Of course, miss. Of course. I'm, pardon me for being rude, Stefan Braunfiedler. I'm likewise just trying to find a change of pace, trying to separate myself from the loud roar of crowds and expectations. But tell me, what are you reading? Oh, it's nothing. She kind of smiles shyly, and puts it down. It's just something for work. I guess I can't ever tear myself away. It is understandable. It's okay. You are here. You don't need to put on your facade. You don't need to do any work. You just need to let your hair down and relax. After all, isn't that what being off of work for the day is all about? Um, this isn't something. This isn't usually a way that Gloria feels, but something in Stefan's voice just, well, it relaxes her. Something about what he says or how he says it, or with the voice that he says it with. Um, she kind of lets her shoulders down as though tension is easing, and she kind of not slouching, but she kind of sits back at ease. Um, so I don't mean to pry, but apparently the waitress tells me that you come in here quite often. Uh, Tell me, does it ever get loud and busy in here? I usually don't pay too much attention. It doesn't usually get too loud. They're, they do tend, I think some once in a while they tend to have some live music, but I'm not sure. Or maybe that's another place, but they can get a bit lively from time to time. Um, Stefan tries to hide the the nervous discomfort that he's feeling because of the pangs. Um, the, a thin veneer of a smiling to try to hide the discomfort. Decent enough to where she doesn't notice. I know exactly what you mean. Is everything okay? Everything is fine. I'm I'm a bit distracted. It's been quite some time since I have been in the presence of such a beautiful woman as yourself. Somebody who can, despite all of the stress at work, still find time to just let go. As Stefan kind of gets up a little bit, repositioning himself, making an ever so slight, ever so smooth motion with his hand, as if he's silently asking if he can sit on the same side of the booth as she is. Without any hesitation, she actually slides over, and Stefan, as soon as he sits, grabs the foot of his wine glass, fingers around the stem, slides it over gently, and takes a look at the striking woman that he's met in this place this evening. That is quite a striking aroma. I do apologize, but it's part of your beauty. I, I suppose I am a sucker for visually striking things. Suppose doing what I do it is not surprising, but it is good to see that I have been able to help somebody as intelligent as you find a little bit of emotional and mental peace. As Stefan kind of leans in and whispers that to her, placing placing his right arm around her a bit, and whispering into her right ear. He gently allows his nose to just ever so slightly nudge the lobe of her right ear. I don't suppose you would be game for a little bit more relaxation this evening. I don't suppose you would be interested in, well, never mind what I say. I am obviously tired this evening. And I'm actually going to make another charisma empathy roll. That's just a fail, but let's see. How does she take it actually? Um, he obviously fails to deliver. He fails to deliver it in the way he wanted, but strangely enough, she doesn't really take notice. She actually her shoulders kind of roll a little bit loosely as though they're falling back. Um, and she just kind of sits back as though she's known Stefan a little bit longer, even though that's not true. It's actually kind of odd. Maybe something about what he said, the way he failed to deliver it, um, caused her to forget something. Perhaps it's the fatigue from work. Um, but in this moment, she does not seem to notice. She kind of looks away a little bit at the this rather interesting looking device that seems to be all screen. Stefan kind of, as he looks at it, something that Sophia told him, he thinks to himself, maybe this is one of these tablet computers. She kind of looks at that momentarily, and with his right arm kind of at the woman's back, he kind of leans down to her neck. He knows he has to do this quite very quickly. The lighting in here isn't too bright, it's rather dim. But he leans in, distends his fangs as he goes forward, feeling the rush, being completely enamored and overtaken by the beauty of the scent of the woman. And lets his fangs pierce the flesh of the woman's neck. And as the rapture of the embrace, the kiss that he plants upon her neck very gently just before his fangs actually pierce her skin. He begins to feel the blood rush to the two wounds. And he begins to drink very, very carefully. He prides himself on never spilling a drop, never letting any stray evidence be seen that something odd was happening. No. And at this point, it looks as though to the rest of the simple patrons whose gaze may actually slightly avert in this direction, as though they are getting on a little bit better for a first meeting than others. As the warm, lively vitae of this woman, Gloria, begins to slide down Stefan's throat as he can feel the rapture of the liquid that is flowing in this woman's veins. He finds himself going back, thinking back to the woman under the moonlight on the docks. What was it, 9 years ago? Conversation. The horrible act that she had told Stefan about, how she tried to leave, or as she had told him she had left her husband, but finding him performing unfaithful acts with other women. A conversation that he had with her before trying to seek a meal. The emotional appeal that she had made, the, what was it, early spring, the smell of that spring breeze coming off the ocean, the last vestiges of winter's chill had broken about that time. It was a warmer year. Something about the taste of this woman's blood reminds him of, or takes him back to her. And then he realizes what he's seeing. He sees the flash of the man in the diner. He hopes he actually didn't kill him. He hopes very much that he flashes back to reality. It seems that this woman he's met this evening has gone a bit limp. He's taken. Oh no! As he begins to panic. Only barely able to contain his panic, to keep calm. He Stefan looks at her. Her breathing has shallowed a little bit. He thinks to himself, no, 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 not again. No. And recalls some of his schooling, some of his training. Not able, obviously, barely containing the excitement, the hurried rush of, possibly what he is doing. He can't quite recall. He tries to listen to her breathing. It's a little bit labored. It's not as labored as the man at the Plimpton diner bathroom. Or was it a month or two ago? But no, this can't be happening. He begins to take her pulse a bit, realizing that he must have drained. He must have drained at least half of the blood in her body. He begins to think, is it possible to give any back? As he begins to think about this, have him make an intelligence occult roll. Something occurs to Stefan. Some voice in the back of his head. He can hear it. It's clearer than most. It's not the clearest. It's like other visions or voices that he's heard before. Very, very on rare occasions. But it urges him. Yes, you can save her. He can't believe what he's about ready to do. He tries to recall some of his knowledge. If he could give some back, it might stabilize her. And he licks the wounds on her neck very quickly and looks around a bit. Nobody is actually looking over in this area. They're all too busy with their own business, their own lives, their own relaxation and fun this evening. He quickly bites into his own wrist, a little bit larger, right over, and then places it right over the woman's mouth, kind of holding her head back, making it appear as though maybe they're enjoying a rather long kiss, a very pleasant long kiss. And he's made sure that the wound in his wrist is a little larger. He bites to assist with the flow of it. He tries to will the VTMYTE to flow a bit faster, so to speak. I'll have him make a wits occult difficulty 7 with no success. The blood is rather sluggish. Perhaps he didn't concentrate. Perhaps he didn't speak to it correctly, but tearing a little bit bigger, a little bit larger hole in his wrist, Stefan begins to eventually feel the blood leave his body at a faster pace. He kind of takes a fang or two and just kind of rips open a little bit more, trying to keep the blood contained within her mouth, trying to keep the scene neat and unmarred with the sight of the red liquid that he had drained, too much in fact, from her. As the VTMYTE flows back down the woman's throat, you can begin to hear a slight difference, but it's still concerning. Just as in the Plimpton diner, he did not wish to ever kill somebody like he did on the docks. He didn't want. He tried to do what he could to prevent that man from dying. And in this bar, with this woman, no, he thinks to himself, this cannot be her end. This is not fair to her. Some time passed, 10, 15, 20 minutes. Even he can feel the VTMYTE leaking forth from the wound in his wrist that he's made. He guesses. Just have him make just a wits roll. With fairly decent accuracy, he guesses about 4 points. About 4 points he's given back to her, feeling relatively satisfied that, maybe this will do. He quickly licks all around the wound that he's used his teeth to. He's torn in his wrist with his own fangs. He licks those wounds very quickly, licks around it to seal them. He takes a bar napkin and kind of wipes around her mouth, wipes her neck where the original fang marks were, wipes his own wrist, places the bar napkin down, and Um, although he's probably going to regret this, he he focuses all of his will into this next action, takes the glass of wine and downs it so that nothing looks odd. It just kind of leaves Gloria sitting back in that slightly out of the way booth. The eagle, with her glass of wine in front of her, he takes her tablet and places it into her handbag, her purse, so that nobody takes it. Plants one more kiss upon her left cheek. Gloria, I hope you will recover from this. I am sorry, my dear. As Stefan gets up, leaves a $10 bill on the table under the foot of his glass, walks out of the Eagle and into the night.